Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southeast.
Hello, New York. It's been a while. The Braves haven't been in the Big Apple since late April, and the weather today is a whole lot better than it was then. It's a gorgeous afternoon. You might say the dog days of autumn are upon us as the Braves and Mets hook up here in a 4-game series at Citi Field. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome to the ballpark. Today's the kind of day you like on a hot, sticky afternoon. Kind of a day where you go to the ice cream store and you get 2 scoops, a double dip as it were. That's what we've got on tap today as the Braves and Mets make up a rain-out game in April.
Well, hopefully the Braves can make up some ground on the New York Mets on the season series because New York's kind of had it their way for most of the seasons. But when you look at the doubleheader for both these teams, really, it's the 4th for each of them. For Atlanta, 4th doubleheader. They swept one. That was against the Phillies recently. They have also split one, and then they got swept by the Mets in Atlanta in August. So 3-3 in their first 3 doubleheaders, 4.8 runs a game, and it's the most doubleheaders in one season since 2008. And ironically, the same exact record for the Mets this year in their first 3 doubleheaders.
So a good matchup in game 1. Chris Flexen for the Mets. Lucas Sims has the ball for the Braves in the opener on a perfect afternoon for baseball. Game 1 of 2 coming up next. Lineups and first pitch from Citi Field after the break.
New York as we lead you up to a doubleheader between the Braves and the Mets. And the Braves are coming off of a series win versus the Phillies, and they had a little fun yesterday. So at the end of the season, most teams normally have their rookies dress up on the final road trip. Well, that day was yesterday for the Braves, and the theme was Mario Kart. And when I tell you, they looked good. Your guys looked good. You have Micah Johnson and Sean Newcomb on the charter playing yesterday. Now, Jim Johnson spearheaded this whole thing, and he tells me that he told the rookies a couple of weeks ago what the theme was, and the rookies then had to put together the costumes themselves, and the winner got a prize. And when I asked Jim Johnson how he came up with the idea of Mario Kart, he said, well, we had so many rain delays earlier in the season that we were spending a lot of time in the clubhouse playing Mario Kart, and it clicked. So the winner of yesterday, like he said, was Lane Adams. Lane Adams really did a good job with his costume, but these guys had a lot of fun with it. Really cool to see them loosening up, and we're going to hope that that translates into something today here in the doubleheader, and they can leave here with 2 wins as we start this series. But we have games 1 and 2 coming your way of the Braves versus the Mets. Chip and Joe take it back with first pitch and starting lineups coming up. Enjoy the game.
The Braves and Mets resume hostilities. Had a very touching moment here just a few moments ago with the national anthem being performed by a young 8-year-old lady named Jocelyn Reyes. And yes, that is Jose Reyes' daughter, who got a bouquet, a big kiss, a big ovation, and a memory to last a lifetime.
Boy, there were some big smiles and, you know, some goosebumps for Jose Reyes and his wife. What a proud moment. She did a fabulous job.
And he was standing in line with the rest of his teammates out in front of the Mets dugout and very stoically looking out at the outfield. He couldn't bear to watch his daughter get through the song, but she was outstanding. So congratulations to Jose and his family as you take a peek at Chris Flexen. Our first look at him. The Mets right-hander, 3-4 this year, pitching for an injury-riddled Mets rotation.
Well, he got called up because they were so torn up in terms of the disabled list. He was in A-ball and then in Double-A Binghamton and pitched really well. 10 starts there. He was 6-1 with a 1.76 ERA, not many walks, a lot of strikeouts. That's not been the case here. As Chip said, 3-4 with a 7.13 ERA. And one more walk than strikeouts, 30 walks in 41 2/3 innings. And he's got a cutter, curveball, fastball, sits 92, 93. Braves, first look at him, he's worked some out of the bullpen, but none against the Braves.
So Brian Snitker and the Bravos line up this way with their 70 wins on the season. It's a doubleheader, so you figure Ender's ready to have another big day for the Braves. He's leading off the Toyota starting nine. Ozzie Albies second, Freeman third, Markakis, Flowers, and Ruiz the middle of the attack. Swanson, Jace Peterson in left eighth, and Lucas Sims will pitch and bat ninth. Braves hope to get on the board early and often against Flexen. They were shut out yesterday by the Phillies in the final game of the year at SunTrust Park. We start our final week of the 2017 season with two in New York today. So big Chris Flexen's first pitch is over but low, ball one. 86 degrees.
Perfect.
Ender at 307 on the year, 11 homers, 56 runs batted in. Good on base percentage, 197 hits. That's third most in the big leagues. The pitch is lifted toward left, and that's playable for Brandon Nimmo, who makes the catch in the dappled sunshine. There's the first out. Nimmo, Lagares, and Aoki for New York in the outfield. Phillip Evans, the third baseman. Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop. Reyes and Smith on the right side. And Tomas Nido. Our first look at the young Mets catcher today. Here's Albies hitting .275, 4 homers, 23 knocked in. He's 1 for 9 against the Mets this year. And takes one way high.
Got a day off yesterday. Should be raring to go today. A little shadow effect across this infield, like a little tougher on the hitters.
One ball, one strike.
A strobe light effect when the ball comes through the shadow and then into the sunshine.
Late reaction there. Perhaps that's the reason why. 2-1.
He's a big guy. Flexen's 23 years old, 6'3", 250. Out of Fremont, born in Fremont, California.
Second ranked prospect by Baseball America in the Mets organization. And he turns it loose, 2-2. Bouncing ball hit toward Reyes at second. He's got it. Fires to first in time for the second out. Read something about Flexen the other day. Remember, they had Jay Bruce come to New York from Cincinnati. Flexen was originally involved in that deal going to the Reds for Jay Bruce, but there were some medical issues that cropped up, and the Reds said, no, we need another name to complete that deal. Flexen coming off Tommy John surgery in 2014. He had surgery to clean up bone chips in his right knee this spring. As he gets one by Freddie Freeman on a tip, strike one. More walks than strikeouts for Flexen in 41 2/3 innings. And little roller is hit towards Smith at first. Flexen to the bag, and he gets the Braves in order. 1-2-3 with a couple of soft ground outs. Lucas Sims goes to work. No score after a half inning in New York. coming up, and they will face Lucas Sims, who's back in the rotation today.
2-5, a 5.14 ERA. First couple of innings always seemed to be an issue for him, trying to get through that. 6.75 ERA, get through that. He should be all right today. And his 4 keys to pitching success, back-to-back. All young pitchers want to be known as consistent. That's been somewhat of an issue for some of these guys, but he's coming off a real good start against the Nationals. 5 innings, just 1 run allowed. Maybe he can do it back-to-back. And today, whole runners, the Mets have been running wild. 25 stolen bases in their last 28 games.
And he'll face Nori Aoki to start things for New York, and Lucas delivers a quick strike. Aoki had a good series against the Braves back in Atlanta, if memory serves. And he bangs this one out towards second. Tricky hop, but Ozzie stayed with it, double clutched, and then got his man for the first out. Mets are struggling. They've been outscored by 44 runs in their last 13 games. Jose Reyes is their second place hitter. Nimmo in left, Evans at third, Smith at first, Rosario, Lagares, Nido, and Flexen at the bottom of the attack for Terry Collins, who has been hopelessly outmanned much of this year because of just devastating injuries to their top line players. That's why the Mets start action at 66 and 89 on the year.
Lucas already ahead of pace in his last start. Remember, the first pitch he threw, Trey Turner went out of the ballpark. That was the only run he allowed.
Reyes softly towards center. Dansby's going out, and he's going to make a sliding, tumbling catch. Pretty play. When Albies pulled off, I thought that ball was going to drop, but Dansby got there with a slide and in front of Ender Inciarte for out number 2.
This swing had a loud bark. It didn't have much bite. Nice play by Swanson.
So 2 outs for Brandon Nimmo. 5 homers, 19 RBIs for him. And that's off the plate, ball 1. Yoenis Cespedes and Michael Conforto, 2 big names that are injured for the Mets. That's why they went out and got Aoki at the start of September, just to give him some depth and some veteran presence in this lineup. And now Nimmo's getting a chance to play virtually every day and hitting third for a team that many thought had a chance to be the Eastern champs. And Lucas behind him, 3 balls, no strikes. Good rip at it, but fouled it straight back. It's a full count. Nimmo, a #1 pick out of Wyoming. He's the first and only high school player in Wyoming history to be taken #1 in the first round, I should say, in the Major League Draft. And he just struck out looking and was on his way to first base. How about that comeback by Sims? Fell behind 3-0, but struck out the Mets left fielder. We head to the second.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet and the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home. And by Delta Airlines.
The unmistakable New York skyline as we've wrapped up one inning of game one of our doubleheader today at Citi Field. Chris Flexen will go to work in the second, facing Markakis, Flowers, and Rio Ruiz.
Nick didn't have a particularly good homestand. 7 for 34. But would be nice to see him finish up strong here on this last road trip.
8 homers, 72 RBIs. Nick put on a show with his arm last time the Braves played. 2 assists, throwing out would be doubles men Cesar Hernandez and Jorge Alfaro. That doubled his assist total for the year. Went from 2 to 4. Those 2 good throws. One ball, one strike, and that one caught a corner. It's 1-2. That slap toward Evans at third. He'll glove and gun to first. Good arm and good result. 3 groundouts for Flexen so far today. 1 out in the second.
Boy, excellent setup defensively for Nick there. Ned Evans way off the line.
So he gets a little positioning help from the Mets dugout as Tyler Flowers digs in. Tyler's playing in his 6th game since August 28th, since he injured his left wrist. 11 homers, 47 knocked in for the Braves catcher. And he's buzzed inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
His first game back from this setback, he was a little tardy. Timing was off, which was to be expected. And then the next game, he was right on schedule. 2 for 4, a couple of singles, hit the ball hard.
A little late on that pitch and fouled straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Looked like a little bit of a backup breaking ball of some kind. I guess a slider or a cutter.
Just missed inside. Now it's full count. And Flexen, 30 walks, 29 strikeouts, and now 43 innings. The Mets in the big leagues. See if that lack of command costs him here. Nope, swing and a miss. First strikeout.
Pretty good fastball there, 94. That's 30 strikeouts in 43 innings. That's not bad at all. It's just that he's been walking a bunch of guys, so he's had a lot of base runners.
Well, perhaps working with his AA battery mate is going to help him today. Nito also up from Binghamton as Ruiz takes a strike at the knees. Rio hitting an even 200 for the year, 17 RBIs. And a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's got everything working so far, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks sharp. And he hasn't made a start in a while. Last start was September 3rd against Houston. In between there, it's all been out of the bullpen.
He was moved to the pen because he was getting bombarded. As a start, ground ball towards short. Rosario loads up and throws to first in time. It's 6 up, 6 down for Flexen. No score as we head to the home second.
We head to the bottom of the second inning. Lucas Sims back out on the mound for the Braves today. We'll see Lucas Sims in game 1 and Max Fried in game 2 for the Braves. Now, if you remember, this was supposed to be Mike Foltynewicz's day to start, but he was pulled from his last start after he got a cut in his finger. Brian Snitker told us today that we actually do not expect to see him throughout the rest of the season, that they don't think that he would be able to really cut it loose like they want him to be able to with that cut to let it continue to heal. So Chip and Joe, bad news that we probably won't see Folty, but we still get to see these young guys go out and take the mound.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. Kelsey, thank you for that.
Little pop by Phil Evans, and Freddie Freeman calls off Lucas Sims and makes the basket catch.
Yeah, I just wanted to see Folty go out there one more time to leave on a good note, have a good taste in his mouth going into the offseason. So that is disappointing.
So if that's the case, Joe, Mike's going to finish this season with a 10-13 record, 28 starts, 143 strikeouts, 154 innings, 20 homers, 10 hit batsmen, and a .277 opponent's batting average.
If that scout's prophecy about young pitchers, rookie pitchers, that I trust and believe, saying that it takes, just because a guy gets to the big leagues doesn't make him a big league pitcher. It takes 2 years. Then Mike's got a lot to look forward to next year.
You bet. Into the Mets dugout on the fly. That might scatter some of the Metropolitans. Yep. I think Jacob deGrom saying, hit it the other way, Dominic. The Mets rookie first baseman hit .330 at Vegas. He's hitting .209 here in the major leagues. And another bouncer. This one bounced off the net.
3 for 10 in that series in Atlanta. Braves first look at him.
But a 3 for 27 slide has cost him 23 points off his batting average. He starts action today at .209. 43 strikeouts, 9 walks for him. The 2-2 pitch.
What I do remember about that series was how he stood off the plate, kind of dove back into the strike zone, wanted the ball away from him.
Drove in 3 runs against the Braves back in Atlanta. And now another 2-2 pitch is way outside. Swing and a miss, pulled a string, and Smith strikes out again. That's the second for Lucas Sims. 2 outs. Pretty pitch.
And the conviction to throw it 3-2. Circle change, beautiful spot. Had a little down and away spin to it, like it's like a screwball. Outstanding pitch. Good choice.
Ahmed Rosario's the Mets shortstop, batting .271.
When I was talking about Lucas in the back-to-back games, hoping to have a good one back-to-back, he last won against Seattle August 22nd. 6 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball. The next start was not particularly good. He did pitch into the 7th inning. We gave up 8 hits and 4 runs and took a loss at Philadelphia. So good, not so good. Good, not so good. Hopefully today this will be a second good one in a row.
That stayed high, and the count is 2-2. Certainly trending in the right direction. There's another ground ball. This one to the Braves shortstop, Dansby Swanson, and Freeman with a stretch at first. And the Mets are retired in order in the second. 2 perfect starts for Flexen and Sims. We go to the 3rd. TV every night on every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv for all the details. Joe Kelsey and Chip with you from New York. We're through 2, no score. Chris Flexen will face Dansby Swanson, Jace Peterson, and Lucas Sims. That shaved off the outside corner, a strike.
Kind of a nice first pitch get over slider.
And that one headed for the Atlanta dugout foul. It's quickly 0-2. Evans at third, right at the bag, and he can't handle it. The ball's lying still right behind the third base bag. So Dansby Swanson has the game's first hit.
Yeah, that was weird. It was like the bag kind of prevented him from gloving it. Once it hit in his glove, then it was trapped on the base. Dansby will take it.
We're in the flight path at LaGuardia today as Jace Peterson digs in and takes a strike. Jace has been doing some good work. He's 5 for his last 11. And again starting in left field. That's served out of play, foul. In fact, Jace's good work is the subject of our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
Boy, it has been outstanding. RBIs and runs to go with that good average, whether he's starting or pinch hitting.
Nothing in 2. And they tried that inside corner, but it was too tight. That was fouled at the plate. At least I believe it was. Yep, Dansby's going to head back. Late signal by the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher.
Yeah, it was a late call. Bat, glove. And then I think Andy thought that Nito caught it.
That one at the knees, and Jace is caught looking. That's Flexen's second strikeout, and it brings up Lucas Sims.
Both pitchers very sharp with their change-ups. That was a good one.
So 1 on, 1 out for Lucas Sims. The Braves pitcher has a couple of sacrifices. He'll try to lay down another. And fouled at the plate, strike 1. I'd say by and large the Braves staff this year has done a good job of helping themselves to the plate.
How about this? A run and bunt. Take off. Bunt it to third, make Evans field it, and just keep on running around to third base if you're Dansby. You see the way they're defending it. With Rosario covering second base, there would be nobody at third.
One ball, one strike.
Gotta get the bat out in front.
And now 1 and 2. There's the bunt. Flexen's going to fire to second. What a stretch. But Reyes got pulled off the bag. Excuse me, Rosario got pulled off the bag by the throw. Let's see if the Mets challenge the call at second.
Well, it took them all a little bit by surprise, especially Rosario. He thought he was going to go to first base. Hard to tell if his foot was on the base there or not. Joe West is the umpire at second and the crew chief.
Let's see from this angle.
One of the things that makes it hard to see is the shadow and the bright sunshine reflecting on the base. In real speed, it looks like he's way off the bag.
And even with the slow motion replays, you have to wonder, did he have a spike on top of the base, and is there enough video evidence to change Joe West's call of safe?
As we've seen so many times, whatever the call is, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to be upheld unless there's obvious evidence to the contrary.
And from that angle we just saw, it looked like his foot was on the base, but you can't have any depth perception as to whether it's actually on the corner or not. So the verdict is in, and the call is overturned. So the Mets challenge bears fruit. They forced Dansby Swanson. Sims at first with 2 outs.
I'd really like to know what angle they saw that made them overturn it.
So instead of 2 on, 1 out, you've got the pitcher at first with 2 away, and Ender Inciarte the batter. He flied out to left to start the game. And Flexen just missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Flexen starting his second trip through the Braves lineup. Hitters ought to have a much better idea of what he's featuring. Again, he's facing the Braves for the first time today. No score. And lifted towards center. And Juan Lagares is there, and he's got it. Flexen gives up the game's first hit. The Braves can't cash it in. We go to the bottom half. Still no score. Far in game one of our doubleheader. While we have a moment, let's check out today's cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. The Mets have been tough on the Braves of late.
Boy, I'll say, with a sub 200 batting average, 250 on base percentage, that's not going to produce too many runs. In those 6 games, the Braves just 1-5. They are 6-9 against New York for the year.
A lot of discussion around the future of Terry Collins, who is in the last year of his contract with the Mets. Will he be asked to come back? Does he want to come back? Sadly for Terry Collins, who's already proven what a terrific manager he is, he hasn't had his team this year. Cespedes, Conforto, Wright, Matz, Harvey, Familia, Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, among others, who have been disabled for significant periods of time.
And early on.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost Syndergaard right out of the chute. Braves saw him opening day, and then he may have gotten one more start, possibly 2.
I mean, that's an all-star team that's hurt for New York. Yet they've hung in there and have at times played very good baseball despite those massive amounts of injuries, and as we showed you, especially so against the Braves. Juan Lagares takes up and away. Ball 2 to him. Over but low, 3 balls and a strike. Right back where it came from, and Dansby with the dive couldn't get there. So like the Braves, the 3rd inning leadoff man for New York, Juan Lagares, has a base hit.
Right back where it came from. Lagares is one of the guys that's been running a little bit. He's got 7 swipes now on the year, 7 out of 9. But bears repeating, 25 stolen bases in their last 28 games. Keep an eye on him.
Here's Tomas Nido, who was called up September 12th from Binghamton, the Mets AA club. The AA team has one of the terrific minor league nicknames. They're the Binghamton Rumble Ponies.
That's mean sounding. Even if it is a merry-go-round.
That's it. And that's why the name came about. The town of Binghamton, New York, known as the carousel capital of the world. They have 6 of the remaining 170 antique carousels in the world in their city. And the Mets minor league club took that as their moniker. Pretty cool. Line drive by Nido, right at Ender, though. He makes the catch and chases Lagares back to first with 1 out.
It's kind of weird, and I know this is partially because of those injuries you were talking about with key players, but they had 32 team stolen bases in their first 127 games, and now 25 in their last 28 games.
I'm guessing trying to find offense any way they can get it. Again, no Cespedes, no Conforto. Those are 2 big power bats for them.
Right, and they're 2nd in the league in homers, so they were first. Some of that's been waylaid by guys missing in action, so you don't run as much when you've got a chance to hit a 3-run homer.
No swing for Chris Flexen. A ball and a strike. Flexen's 2 out of 12 as a hitter. Does not have a sacrifice. Might have one now as Flowers makes the play, and Ozzie Albies has to shield his eyes with his glove as he was standing in the sunshine on the Flowers peg to first. So there is the first sacrifice for Flexen. Lagares to second with 2 out. It's a tough infield to play right now. Watch this.
Looking right through the openings in the stadium at the different levels. Might be a little easier for the hitters to see now with that shadow passing past the pitcher's mound.
And Sims versus Aoki. Let's have their first runner in scoring position on the day. And a little low. Ball 1.
This guy did have a good series. 5 for 10 in Atlanta. He's 35 years old.
Two doubles and a triple among those 5 hits for Aoki back at SunTrust Park. And he lifts this one toward left. And that's playable for Jace Peterson. He's there. He's got it. And the Mets strand Lagares. We go to the 4th. Still scoreless.
Your local Ford dealer, and the Georgia Lottery.
Beautiful day in New York. No score. We're through 3. Chip and Joe with you. Hope you'll stay with us all afternoon and evening tonight. Our great Fox Sports crew hard at work to bring you both games of our doubleheader with the New York Mets.
Yeah, and a pat on the back, a tip of the cap to all our folks down there today with an early crew call, getting ready for a doubleheader, getting in here last night. Wasn't an unreasonable hour by any means, but just having to get up and get after it for 2 games. Way to go, folks.
Ozzie Albies leads off for the Braves. He bounced out to second in the first inning. And he unloads down the right field line. If he kept it fair, it's going to be gone. He did keep it fair off the facade of the second deck. An absolute missile off the bat of Ozzie Albies, and the Braves strike first. Was that a quick swing and a quick result, or what?
Yeah, it was not a high arcing fly ball either. Drop the barrel down and in. Boom. Off the player.
I love the sound of the ricochet as Freddie pulls one into the seats foul. I mean, he put a dent in that sign up there. He hit the ball so hard for his 5th home run. And it's 1-0 Atlanta with Freddie Freeman up there. Flexen's now given up 10 homers this year. in almost 45 innings.
Now, Ozzie didn't have a particularly good homestand either. He was 5 for 28, so that day off yesterday probably did him some good.
You see Nito try to get Flexen to lock in, and he made a good pitch.
Well, one of the knocks on Flexen, if there was one, is that he had all those good numbers in the minor leagues, but he got up here like so many young pitchers. He started nibbling, and he got deep into deep counts, and he would get ahead 0-2, and then all of a sudden it's 3-2 and having to make a good pitch.
Came back to get Freeman after falling behind 3-1. That's his third strikeout.
So I would say today we haven't really seen signs of that. He's been a little more aggressive. Slider, good spot.
We talk all the time about how that second or third deck can sometimes play tricks on a pitcher as they get to the show for the first time. You look at his lefty righty splits between the minor leagues and major leagues. Pretty amazing how much more difficult it is to retire major league hitters. In the minor leagues, Flexen gave up a 152 average to lefties. In the majors, 284. In the minors, a 211 average against right-handed batters. In the big leagues, 348.
Wow.
Popped up toward Evans at third. He'll take care of Nick Markakis for 2 outs after the Albies homer. But I'm assuming, Joe, it's human nature, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher,
Sure.
to maybe give those guys a little more credit than perhaps they should get.
And we talk about that all the time, especially with the Braves young pitchers. You know, you're here for a reason. You got good stuff. Use it. See if it works here, and if it doesn't, then you make adjustments.
So Flowers hits with 2 outs. Tyler struck out in the second inning, and he's a little late again. One game final in the major leagues today. Everything else under the lights a bit later. As Flowers hits one toward left, Nimmo is going to get there, and he'll make the play. We'll update you on the scores around the bigs in a moment. First things first, Ozzie Albies with a lightning strike, a leadoff homer in the 4th inning. Put a dent in the side, and Flexen's ERA all in one fell swoop. 1-0 Atlanta here in the 4th. So the Yankees, 50 home runs from Aaron Judge. now have 87 wins. They're trying to catch the Red Sox still. The Red Sox just won't lose, though. Boston's won 6 in a row for the moment. New York 4.5 back in the American League East.
Going to be hard to catch. 4.5 with 7 or 8 to play.
And they've got a 4.5 game lead over Minnesota for the second wild card. And Minnesota has a 4.5 game lead over the Angels.
Angels have they've just had a bite taken out of them by Cleveland and Houston. Pretty much ended any chance they had.
So Lucas Sims has a 1-0 lead. He's got Reyes, Nimmo, and Evans coming up in the 4th inning. And a little bit low. Ball 2. 4 keys for Lucas Sims. Back-to-back good outings was Joe's hope, and hold runners. He's only had 1 runner on base. And now he's got 2 as Reyes, a fast man with 24 steals, is aboard to start the inning.
Could hear Lucas barking at himself as that pitch was in flight to the plate. This guy, Nimmo, had a tremendous year in 16 in AAA. Great numbers. Got a couple of call-ups to the big league club.
And he lines 1 to left on the first pitch.
But this is one of those opportunities for a guy who might have been just thought of as just a backup, you know, a 4th outfielder type who can pinch hit for you a little bit. He's getting an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, I can play, and I can play every day. And he's taking full advantage of it. At bats he wouldn't have gotten were it not for all the injuries and trades.
That's the second Mets hit of the game, and it brings up Phillip Evans, the 3rd baseman, who popped out his first time up. Evans got his first big league start, RBI and run on September 17th against the Braves at SunTrust Park. He's got a chance to do some damage here in the 4th. 2 on, nobody out. Diving catch, beautiful play by Rio at 3rd.
If that ball bounces, that was going to present an interesting dilemma for Dansby Swanson, because Reyes was headed back to 2nd and Nimmo was headed back to 1st, and I don't think they would have gotten a double play by going to 2nd and then to 1st. They may have had to go somehow to 3rd, but there's nobody at 3rd, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Nobody covering.
Throw the fade route and see what happens.
Yeah.
If he'd let that ball drop, there could have been all kinds of opportunities there. But it worked out just fine. The double play is still in order. And Smith's the batter with a big swing and a miss. Like Brandon Nimmo, Smith is getting at bats because Jay Bruce is gone and Lucas Duda is gone. Remember, they traded him to Tampa Bay. Now the runners go. The throw to 3rd is going to be in time. Reyes thrown out trying to steal 3rd base, and Nimmo, the trail runner, stayed at 1st.
Good catch and throw by Tyler. Throw was a little bit high. Nice job by Rio. Yep. Bad on the part of Nimmo for not paying attention to the runner in front of him.
1 ball, 1 strike for Dominic Smith.
The Braves defensively have done a nice job all year long of holding runners throwing a few guys out here and there, picking a lot of guys off, helping their cause. So many teams have pitchers that once they field their position, you're not quite sure where they're going to throw it. And the Braves have some good fielding pitching.
Pulled a string. Smith didn't get it.
That's what he struck him out on first time around.
Sims has him set up. The 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Tyler wanted it up, but not so far in.
Maybe another fastball here. Let's see. 2-2.
Good try. Try to go two-seamer, back it up. Missed in, but missed in. Didn't miss out over the plate. And at 94.
So with a full count, Freddie Freeman will play behind Brandon Nimmo at first. He'll be off to the races with the next pitch to Dominic Smith, the Mets first baseman. Braves lead on an Albies homer. Runner goes. Pitch is a breaking ball. Strike 3. Smith caught looking, and Flowers was halfway to the dugout before Smith made his turn. Sims pitches around a leadoff walk and a base hit and preserves a 1-0 lead. They've enjoyed this game to this point. Albies a homer. Sims with 4 shutout innings, and the Braves are back to work at the plate with Rio Ruiz leading off. Dansby Swanson, Jace Peterson to follow. And that's in at the knees, a strike.
I think at some point, while Flexen's still in there, that leadoff guy's going to be looking for that first pitch get over slider.
Braves have 2 hits. Albies' 4th inning shot left the park briefly. That's the only tally so far. Slow roller down the first baseline, and Smith plays that in foul ground. 2-2.
Will be interesting to see if Bryce Harper plays tonight. Scheduled to make his return.
They are the Washington Nationals in Philadelphia tonight. Apparently Harper put on a show here with his simulated games. He was hitting balls places where no man had gone before, over the Shea Bridge, for example.
Out behind the bullpens. Gretchen tells me that he has been scratched. Stomach flu.
Really? And that's a good start for Atlanta. Rio Ruiz walks. First one of those for Flexen today. See if Atlanta can add on.
I think that's more an indication of an example of what I was told about Flexen with regard to getting ahead and then nibbling and losing hitters.
Dansby an infield hit. Ball right to the third base bag that Evans couldn't handle cleanly. And Dansby was forced out after review at second base in the third inning. That Washington Phillies game tonight. A.J. Cole and Aaron Nola, who's turned into a budding star for the Phillies. He's 12-10. If you're going to miss a game, that'd be a good guy to miss. Dansby took a fastball for an even count. Now the 1-1 pitch. Bell tie and a beauty. Also later tonight, the Cubs are in St. Louis to play the Cardinals. Huge series. Cubs' magic number is 2 to win the Central. And Giancarlo Stanton with 57 homers is in Colorado tonight.
Who was it from the Cubs? I saw a headline where one of the Cubs players says, boy, it'd be really nice to clinch in St. Louis.
Ben Zobrist. They run into Luke Weaver, who's 7-1 for the Cardinals. John Lester's 3-1 in his last 4 starts, but with a high ERA. He's not quite the same guy right now.
He wasn't the same guy when we saw him.
1-2 count. And that one is tipped and caught. And Swanson is struck out. 4 of those for Flexen. Ruiz still at first for Jace Peterson. Jay struck out looking back in the third. What a nice relaxing atmosphere for this game. Just the sounds of the crowd, the vendors, you hear the umpires' discussions down on the field.
Jets.
That's the best part. Pitch Yes. For a strike.
Like on cue almost.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Now that the sun has begun to dip below the horizon, things cooling off. Very comfortable night with a second game to follow. As this one's pulled toward first. Smith unloads to second for one. Nice turn. And that is the inning. That's some slick defense by the Mets. Braves are out of luck in the fifth inning, leading 1-0.
Is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
The Flatiron Building here in New York.
One of my favorite buildings in America.
Really?
Yeah. How genius was that architecture?
Great people watching town, great architecture town. We talk all the time driving through Midtown Manhattan, and we look up at the skyscrapers, St. Patrick's Cathedral, and what would it cost to replace some of these buildings today?
Well, and another thing, if you like sirens and horns, this is your place.
It's true. That is true. As Ahmed Rosario leads off, he bounced out his first time.
I'm sure that the drivers here, especially the cab drivers, are the best in the world at honking before a red light is actually all the way to green. Their timing is impeccable. And they're like 3 cars back, so they're not going anywhere until somebody else moves. But it's just a blend of red to green, and there's on. Let's go.
And they all do it at the same time, right?
Yep.
So it's this beautiful, loud sound.
It's a symphony.
As Rosario couldn't check his swing and strikes out. That's 4 for Sims, and a good start for Lucas in the 5th. He's pitching great. Remember, his last start came out of the bullpen for the Braves when Mike Foltynewicz couldn't go. And 18 days after his previous start, he went 5 innings of 3-hit, 1-run ball against the big bad Washington Nationals and threw 74 pitches.
I liked what Glavine said. Tommy said, you know, sometimes a short stint in the bullpen, you learn a few things about yourself or about some of your pitches. You get a little work in, different type of work that you're able to employ when you go back to the rotation, and maybe that's something that helped Lucas.
And something that jumped out at us right away with Mr. Sims is in opposition with Flexen. There's no nibbling going on with this guy. It is bulldog confidence, get after it. Constant attack mode for Mr. Sims. He needs 2 more outs to qualify for a victory. 2-1.
Well, in the first game of a doubleheader, too, when your starter can give you some innings, that sure does make the bullpen relax a little bit, knowing they don't have to fill a lot of innings over 2 games in one night.
That's down the right field line, headed for the corner. Markakis is there and up against the wall, can't catch it. That's tough play. Looking up into the sunshine, long run, and that padded fence coming up very quickly. Heck of a job by Nick just to make it as close as he did.
One last look. That would have been a tremendous catch. There's a generous amount of foul territory on the infield to the dugouts, not so down the lines, down in the outfield corners.
Right back where it came from. And Lagares has done that twice.
Well, remember in Atlanta how many times Lagares hit the ball hard right at Albies at second base? That's pretty much what he's been doing, is hitting the ball back through the middle. That was a change up, but not in a good spot. Lucas upset perhaps either the location or the fact that he wasn't in a good position to field that.
Tomas Nido. No balls and a strike for Tomas Nido. And popped out a play foul. It's 0-2. Were he still with us, this would have been George Carlin's favorite player. He would have called him moderately Nido. But this guy had an impressive defensive run for the Mets, you told us.
A great percentage of throwing out base stealers. Unheard of, 65%.
65%.
Yeah, I don't know if the Eastern League had an overabundance of heavy runners. I don't know what the deal was, but
so that good work has earned him a trip to the big leagues. Good for him. Ball and 2 strikes. If you can get offense from your catcher, that is a huge luxury. But if he can catch it, call it, frame it, and throw out runners, that's extremely valuable too, especially with the dearth of catching in the show. Ground ball, foul again.
he had some power too. He had 8 homers, 60 RBIs, didn't hit for much average, 232. Eastern League's a tough hitting league though, I'm here to tell you. What are they called again? The
Rumble Ponies.
I was going to say the Stone Ponies, but that would have been Linda Ronstadt.
One ball, 2 strikes. Lucas has gotten a fair share of late swings in this game. Early you can understand with the shadows and sunshine playing havoc with the hitters. But that short, quick arm action, I think, has some of these hitters a little confused.
Yeah, I think that fastball, and he's been at 94 at times today. That's not insignificant. But I think the ball gets on the hitters pretty quick. He hides it well.
Good battle here with Sims and Nito. The runner leads at first. Lagares. He's going again. The pitch is a ball. The throw to second is in time. Lagares tried the swimmer's move, and Albies kept the tag down and nailed him. Another would-be base stealer thrown out by Tyler Flowers today.
Well, if we thought that Nito's numbers were pretty good, they don't compare to 100% today by Tyler Flowers. It's so hard for infielders when they're taking a throw like that to leave the glove on the base because they want to go to the tag. If you leave, they got to come to the base sooner or later.
And a breaking ball, strike three, inside corner. Boy, the Braves defense has been crisp. Tyler Flowers has thrown out two would-be base stealers, and Ozzie Albies with a homer, the only run of the game so far. We go to the sixth.
And if you missed the report earlier, some of the guys, the rookies, had to dress up on this charter flight. So at the last road trip of every single season, a lot of the teams have their rookies dress up as a theme. Well, the Braves theme was Mario Kart this year, all thanks to Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson said that he was pretty much the spearhead behind this and that he got it because there were so many rain delays back at SunTrust Park that they spent a lot of time in the clubhouse and a lot of time playing Mario Kart. So the rookies had to pick out their own outfits, and there was a prize for the winner, and Lane Adams won. But Chip and Joe, I mean, Lucas Sims and Max Fried both pitching today. If Lucas Sims keeps pitching like this, he might have to dress up like that every time he pitches.
I don't think that's going to happen, with all due respect, Kelsey. But you're right about Lane Adams. He took the Mario Kart theme to extremes. He actually had a little go-kart that he carried onto the plane. Not quite sure how that fit in the overhead, but somehow our great Delta flight crew made it happen. And any idea what the prize was for Lane Adams winning?
Too scared. I was too scared to ask, so I did not ask.
Oh, we'll find out after the game. But it seems so right that it happens here in New York. I remember my first year back with the Braves in '05. They had the rookie dress-up day here in New York in September, and all the guys had to walk through LaGuardia.
Yeah.
That was Brian McCann and Jeff Francoeur, and the guy I remember the most was Peter Moylan, who was dressed as do you remember the slushy penguin? That was Peter Moylan. It was the perfect costume.
The one that sticks out for me at LaGuardia was Horacio Ramirez, who was in a bodysuit, and he looked like the downhill racer skier Tomba. Remember him?
Alberto Tomba.
Alberto Tomba. That's who he looked like.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Sims with a squibber up the middle. He's got a base hit, his first.
All right, get that baseball.
Wonder how many times Joe West has flipped a player's first base hit ball back to a dugout in his career.
Well, a few.
He's umpired over 5,000 major league games, you know. And Lucas Sims with his first hit leads off the 6th inning.
Congratulations.
Ender's 0 for 2. He's fly to left. He's fly to center. Charlie Blackmon leads the big leagues in hits with 203. Jose Altuve with Houston has 198. Ender has 197. Trying to push toward 200. That's a ton of hits, boy.
I remember as a young player, someone saying, you know, you get a hit a game, you're going to hit 300. That's not necessarily true. 162 hits oftentimes is not enough.
Good hitters count here. 2 balls, no strikes. And now 3-0. So here's that nibbling. And here's Nito going to the mound. And here's the impressive run for Ender Inciarte, our Georgia Lottery feature.
Doubleheaders this year, 6 games worth, 14 for 24, 8 RBIs, 4 runs scored. That'll help the old batting average in one day. You have a day like he had against the Phillies. It's crazy.
See if he's green lighted 3-0. It seems too, Joe, when he gets on one of his real good runs, he's not even trying to muscle the ball. His swing is so easy and fluid. It's almost like he's playing tennis and just serving the ball, pinging the ball around the infield and outfield. And when he wants it to go, he's got plenty of pop. And he just took a walk. Braves in business. 2 on, nobody out. Dan Warthen, the Mets pitching coach, will make his first visit as Ozzie Albies makes his way to the plate. A line drive homer accounts for the game's only run.
Well, if you missed it, this was a laser off the facing of the second deck. Not a high fly ball at all. Number 5 for him.
Well, he's going to be fun to watch. Over 162 games for the Braves.
Last homer was the 14th of September at Washington off Tanner Roark.
So a chance for a big inning for the Braves here. First and second, nobody out. Albies, then Freeman. Markakis lurking as well. Action has begun in the Mets bullpen. Goodell and Smoker, the Mets pitchers, warming up. I don't envy Mr. Evans at third base, who thinks Albies might try to lay down a bunt. He's in on the grass. And no sign of a bunt. Why show it? Let's see if Flexen pitches himself into an even deeper hole. 2 balls, no strikes.
That's at least the second pitch this inning that he's been upset with Andy Fletcher on. One to Ender that ran the count to 3-0.
Missed away. Well, wouldn't it be nice to bring Freddie Freeman up with the bases loaded and nobody out?
Yeah, he hasn't had enough of those opportunities this year for sure.
And nowhere near. A hit to the pitcher and then back-to-back walks, loads him up. And that's going to be all for Flexen as Terry Collins pops out of the dugout. He'll go get his young right-hander who totally lost control here in the 6th inning. So Flexen goes 5+, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 run so far, and he scattered 3 Atlanta hits, but the Braves have a great chance to break this game open. Leading 1-0. Chris Flexen departs after 77 pitches. This is Josh Smoker, who's on for his 52nd game. High ERA. 2-1 strikeouts to walks. Lefties hitting .275 against him, and those gaudy numbers are really in keeping with what's happened to the Mets all year long. For a Mets starting staff that's been ravaged by injuries, there has been very little relief from the Mets relief corps for Terry Collins. These are their rankings in the National League. Last in ERA, last in hits per 9, meaning they've allowed the most, last in opponents average, and last in highest opponents on base percentage. And so what is right now a 1-0 game, well, the Braves have it there on a platter for him if Freddie Freeman can take advantage of Josh Smoker. Joe mentioned a moment ago there have not been many opportunities for Freeman to hit with the bases loaded this year. This season, Freddie is 2 for 8. Believe it or not, 8 at bats this year with the bags full. Here's number 9, a chance to break the game open. Freddie's 0 for 2. He's bounced out to first, and he is struck out. And the first one way off the plate, ball 1. The way Freddie's locked in, he's not going to swing at that pitch, and he didn't. 1-0 the count. Freeman's faced Smoker 4 times in his career. He's 1 for 4. The inning started with a Lucas Sims base hit up the middle, his first major league hit. 2 walks later, the Braves have him loaded. Tied him up inside, but it missed. Ball 2. Smoker was on the DL with a left shoulder problem. He's been real tough since coming back. 2.84 ERA in his last 25+ innings. Ball 3. Now Freddie can have a microscopic size strike zone.
Well, and Smoker's limited on that slider and how he uses it. It's been a pretty good out pitch against Freddie at times. He struck him out a couple of times with it earlier this season. Now it's got to be a good one if he uses it.
Broken bat, little pop. Rosario back is going to make the play. So there's the first out of the inning. Smoker broke Freeman's bat. And now the bases remain loaded with one out now, and still a 1-0 score for Markakis.
Wow, got jammed on a 3-1 pitch. Hitters hate that in RBI spots.
So let's see what Nick Markakis can do. He's been one of the steadiest run producers for the Braves this year, as you know. A .290 hitter with runners in scoring position. And a good rip at that, didn't get it. Nick Markakis 5 for 10 with the bases loaded for Atlanta, and 11 RBIs this year. And 3 career grand slams. A slam would be great. So would a base hit to extend the lead.
The guy at third base, Lucas Sims, would settle for a sac fly almost right here to give him another run.
Ground ball fair down the third base line. What a magic wand swung by Markakis. He's on his way to second. 2 runs are in, and the Braves extend the lead somehow. Smoker can't believe it.
Made a good pitch.
So Sims and Inciarte score. This one's guided right down the third base line.
And Nick stayed back on that breaking ball, and then a rookie umpire at first, Shane Livensparger, almost got in Nick's way here. Well, he did, and it's like, hey, got base runners here.
So Flowers will be intentionally walked. The long inning continues. Lucas Sims can sit down and catch his breath. He's now got a 3-0 lead, and Rio Ruiz is coming up. That's the third walk earned by the Braves offense in this inning, and the first by Smoker.
I love how Nick waited on that curveball. That was great.
First pitch swing, fly ball center. Lagares on the run, still going on the track, makes the grab. Ozzie tags and scores. Markakis moves to third. Rio with a sac fly. He hit that ball a ton. That might have been a homer at home. He'll settle for his 18th RBI, and all 4 runs are charged to Flexen. So Dansby Swanson, the hitter, with runners first and third, 2 outs.
Nice job by Rio to get that extra run in against the left-handed pitcher. Just hit a fly ball, and he hit it good.
Upstairs, ball 1 from Josh Smoker to Dansby Swanson. Got a hit and a strikeout. Braves had scored 10 total runs against the Mets in their previous 6 games entering game 1 of the doubleheader. They've got 4 in the first 5 2/3 innings tonight alone. There's a pretty pitch. 2-2. Ruiz, Albies, and Markakis, the RBI men for the Braves so far. And the pitch. Popped out of play right side.
Boy, look where Aoki's playing, in right field. How shallow he is for Dansby. Dansby hits one over his head and burns him. Flowers could trot home from first.
Dansby's got an inside the park homer in his career. That'd be kind of fun to see here in New York. As the 2-2 is cut on and missed, and that'll retire the side. Nick Markakis with the biggest hit of the game for the Braves. Watch him guide this ball down the third base line. And that scored 2 Atlanta runs. Another one followed, and the Braves now take a 4-0 lead into the bottom of the 6th. Out of the way, he took care of that in the 6th inning and scored the 2nd run for the Braves. Now he's got his eyes squarely set on his 3rd major league victory. He leads by 4. He's got the pitcher spot first in the Mets 6th, then Aoki and Reyes. And it's Gavin Cecchini.
Oh no.
Wait a minute. Why's the oh no?
You know I can't say his name. Oh, Gavin.
Uh-huh. My grandfather couldn't say Mark Rudzelanek, so he said, "Here's Mark G."
That's a good way to go.
And in for a strike. Of course, he couldn't say a lot of things right, but that's another story. Smoker went an inning, gave up a hit. And that one's over 3rd foul. A walk and a strikeout. No runs, of course. So the Mets, as they so often have had to do with a makeshift starting staff and a bullpen that has been giving up runs at a furious pace, they've got to try to play catch up in the middle innings. And the way Sims is throwing, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. He is dealing 6 strikeouts for him and a good start to the 6th. He does not look like a guy who was sent to the bullpen for a couple of weeks.
No, he does not. And again, maybe there was something to that that was beneficial, helped him, because he's come back pitching even more aggressively and with better success. And he's throwing hard.
Here's Aoki. He's grounded out and flied out. And takes ball one.
In some ways, both he and Max Fried, Max will pitch the second game of this doubleheader. Going to the bullpen was not a bad thing or to be viewed as punishment as much as it was to save innings for guys who haven't pitched this much before.
And then just the mental side of it too. Just take a little bit of heat off and observe the game, watch the game from a different perspective perhaps. But as Kelsey reported, Sims and Fried getting to start today because Mike Foltynewicz, with that cut on his finger, may be done for the year. And that's too bad for Mike, but one man's misfortune in this game is another person's opportunity. We'll see what Max can do with his chance in game two, which will follow shortly after we wrap up the doubleheader opener tonight. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And Aoki stays alive. To third and right at Rio, who had his man positioned perfectly, and Freddie with an excellent athletic play at first saves the day with a short hop snare. 2 outs.
You know, it was almost like Rio had a little too much time to think about that one. It was hit sharply. He was in the right place, got his feet under him, and then did not make a good throw. Took his crow hop. It's always nice to have that big guy at first base. Who's so good at gloving those short hops.
Reyes lines one into right field. So Sims has scattered 4 Mets hits today. All of them singles.
Breaking ball, a little bit of a hanger. Didn't miss it. Tyler Flowers has already thrown out Reyes today, trying to steal third. In fact, he has 2 caught stealings, 1 at third and 1 in second. Tyler has 11 caught stealings this year. Last year he had 2.
I'd say that's an improvement.
Yeah, he's got an 18% caught stealing this year, a vast improvement over his 3% last year. Good change up.
He's had everything working. 74 pitches in his last start. He's up to 77. And he's an out away from sending us to the 7th. Actually a strike away from doing that. For Brandon Nimmo, Reyes leads, and the pitch is upstairs.
I like that. He did that. He didn't intentionally do it to be that close, but he did the same thing to Smith last time around before striking him out looking. He got ahead, and Nimmo, you might remember, lined a single to left his last time up. So behind in the count, trying to guard the plate, maybe hanging over the plate. They busted him in, and they're going to do it again, just like they did to Smith.
Line drive center field, but Ender is there. He's got it, and Sims is through 6 with a shutout bid. He's retired 6 Mets on strikes. He's coming up second in the 7th with a 4-run lead. Don't miss our ACC football doubleheader. Rice takes on Pittsburgh. Then it's number 19 Louisville battling Murray State. The action kicks off Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So far, very good work for Lucas Sims and the Braves offense. 4-0. Sims twirling a shutout here in New York. And the Braves will take a look at right-hander Eric Goodell, who's pitching for the 33rd time.
This guy was getting some frequent flyer miles between the big leagues in Las Vegas. Up and down with all the various injuries to different people. 32 games overall, 32 strikeouts. Left-handers have some good numbers against him, however. And there's a lefty up there now.
Goodell's out of Hillsborough, California, went to UCLA. What a team they had. First the pitch to Jace Peterson. Goodell was teammates on the Bruins squad that included Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer.
Not bad.
And the Mets took him in the 24th round of the draft back in 2010. He's had some elbow issues, including surgery to take a bone spur out last November 2nd. Eric, 28 years young now. Now Jace to swing and miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice change up there. Little split finger grip.
And take it a little low.
See, now why do I say that?
What?
Why do I say, oh, he's got him a little split finger grip there? I don't know how big his hands are. They may be big hands.
Pretty big there, don't they?
Yeah, but it's like, well, he's got him a little hot rod, doesn't he? And it may be a big car.
Fly ball deep right. Aoki on the run, not going to get it. That's going to bounce up against the 380 sign. And Jace Peterson nearly hit a big fly off that little split finger grip. That's the 5th hit.
Well, that jumped.
We better say that carefully, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Good start to the inning.
That one didn't do much of anything. Might have been just a fastball. It was. 2-seamer. Trying to throw a sinker. Didn't get it to back up inside like he wanted it. Threw it to the middle of the plate. And Jace, as he's been doing so well lately, I showed you that graphic. Last 15 games, he continues his good work here in the last month.
So Sims a chance to bunt him to third base, perhaps. We'll see what Brian Snitker has him do. Yep, he's going to try to bunt. And he laid it down, but it backspun foul. Strike 1.
Much better fundamentals there on that one, though. Had the bat at the top of the strike zone and had it out in front of him. Angle was just a little too sharp, a little too much spin, but good effort. This one, you don't have to be real precise with it. You can bunt it hard and make Evans field it. You're still going to get Jace to third.
Same result, 0-2. That 6th inning single, Sims' first major league hit.
Give him a batting average. See
Right?
that? Hitting .071.
Nothing in 2. And Goodell left one too high in the zone to offer. Braves trying to win their 7th game of the year against the Mets. They're 6-9 so far against them. As we showed you earlier, Braves have dropped 5 of the last 6 head-to-head with New York. We did get a pleasant surprise. Noah Syndergaard pitched an inning the other day. Didn't throw a lot of pitches, but at least got back to a big league mound for the Mets. Don't know if he'll pitch again the rest of the way for Terry Collins' club. Matt Harvey piggybacked with him and didn't fare well. There's the bunt, and it's a beauty. Smith bobbles, recovers, and it got him at first. A late call by Livensbarger, the first base umpire. But the sacrifice is good, and Lucas Sims continues his special day here in the Big Apple.
Good day. Absolutely a good day. 2-strike bunt. And Smith fortunate to hang on to that bobble.
Well, Ender doesn't have a hit yet, but he does have a walk and a run scored. There's a high fly ball hammered toward right. Aoki on the run. Not going to get it. That's going to bounce up against the wall. Ender has a double that brings home Jace Peterson. It's 5-0, and that's number 198. Should have said he doesn't have a hit yet before the first pitch of the game. Might have taken care of it early.
You're going to have to work on that in the game, too. Ender with his 26th double, a ringing double at that. We talked about Aoki playing shallow for Swanson. He wasn't playing as shallow for Peterson and Inciarte yet. No chance to get either one of those. They short hopped the fence, both of them. 2 away from 200 hits.
Albies takes a strike. 5-0 Atlanta. Nice comeback for the Braves, who were shut out at home by the Phillies yesterday, 2-0. Now it's the Braves turning the trick on the Mets to this point. That ball stroked towards center. Lagares retreats, and he'll have room. And Ender's going to tag and move up on the fly ball. 2 outs. So Freddie Freeman's the batter. He's 0 for 3. Freddie Freeman today's playing his 119th career game against the Mets. He has 140 lifetime hits against the Mets. A career .313 batting average against New York. Very Chipper Jones-like. Chopped foul.
Speaking of Chipper, I was thinking of Chipper last night when the rookies were being dressed up for their rookie initiation. Remember a few years ago when, I guess it was Chipper's last year in Philadelphia, Chipper decided he'd dress up too. Rookies all went out. They all had to have on some special gear, and Chipper had himself quite a jacket that night, as I recall. Kind of velvet, leopard skin or spotted thing that actually looked good on him.
Well, I was going to say, are you sure that he had to go someplace special to get that, or did he have it out of his own closet?
Yeah, that's a good question.
0-2 pitch, and a nice stop by Nito. 1-2. Did you guys have to do that as rookies? Did they give you the dress up stuff?
No, I don't know when that started. No.
One ball, 2 strikes. The best part of it is, obviously, it's all done in good fun. It's camaraderie. It's entertainment for the veterans and the rookies alike. But the looks of the faces on the people at the airport when all these 6'4", 220-pound guys get off looking like Mario Kart.
Well, and they're having to pull out their driver's license out of their Mario outfits too.
That was pretty funny too. And then to see guys sitting in the airplane seats with the dragon tail, trying to make that work for a 2-hour flight. And then Lane Adams with the go-kart. Very, very well done.
And they all did it and could laugh at themselves. That's what was great about it.
And Freddie just took strike 3, and that will end the inning. A pair of doubles for Atlanta. Ender with hit number 198 extends the Braves lead at the stretch. It has been Lucas Sims' day on the mound, and the Braves bats, after being shut out at home yesterday, have come out with a big 5-run outburst against the Metropolitans. Nick Markakis with a bases loaded RBI double. And NCR did a little housekeeping work on Ron Washington's jersey top. Not sure what that was all about.
He had a big laugh about it after that. This staff is very popular with the players. Even today on September, what is it, 25th?
Yep.
Ron Washington had Albies out doing their work in foul territory with that little flat glove, working on their hands.
And we are so used to seeing that scene from that man. One of the indelible images of this season for me was Ron Washington in Philadelphia earlier, as Phil Evans digs in and takes a ball. Hot day. I think it might have been a Sunday or getaway day.
I think it was.
That might have been the doubleheader day. Out on the field with one of the clubhouse kids who asked him, "Hey, I'm trying to work on some glove work. Would you help me?" And Ron Washington said, "You bet. Get your glove. Let's go." And he had that kid running the paces for a good 45 minutes to an hour. Not a Brave, but some kid who wanted to get some baseball advice from one of the game's great baseball people, and he took the time to do it. That was impressive.
Yeah, there was no batting practice going on.
Two balls, one strike. And his wisdom and his knowledge of how to play the infield is going to be so important for the Braves going forward with this young pitching staff they're starting to groom and develop. Go back to the '91 team. Base hits and errors that turned into outs made those guys so much more successful as big league pitchers. As Evans takes ball 4 to lead off the inning. When you think about Albies and Swanson and Camargo and others that will be coming, all that knowledge that Ron Washington is dispensing right now, you hope will pay big dividends very quickly and very deeply into the Braves system.
I think you could go to Swanson, Albies, Camargo in particular, Chase Peterson.
Sure.
And ask them about that, and they would rave about Ron and the results they're getting from that extra work.
Dominic Smith has struck out twice. And he has not had a called strike that he agrees with yet against Atlanta.
He didn't agree with any of them. He complained on every called strike in Atlanta. For a guy who just got to the big leagues, that's going to get around, Mr. Smith. I'm not saying you're wrong on every one of them, but you're not right on every one of them either.
45 strikeouts, 9 walks for him this year, and 3 hits in his last 29 at bats. This one's hit to left, and plenty of room for Jace to make the catch. He does. 1 out. Back to first is Evans, and Ahmed Rosario the hitter. I wonder what Smith's future is going to be here in New York. And I say that because they have another albatross hanging over the organization, and I say this with respect. David Wright is still under contract. I believe he has a couple more years left with the New York Mets. He's undergone all kinds of surgeries. Now the shoulder, to try to fix that. It's not known whether he'll be able to come back and play third base. If he does come back, the logical place would be for the Mets to do what the Nationals did with Ryan Zimmerman and move him from third to first base. So how do the Mets accomplish that if they have a talented player like Dominic Smith?
Well, they accomplish that quite easily, provided David Wright can throw and his back is okay. Then it's a no-brainer.
And he's the guy.
Yeah.
Rosario figures to be the guy at shortstop opening day next year as he launches this one to center. Enders sprinting, still going back, and shy of the track hauls it in. Rosario hit it well, but to the deepest part of the ballpark, 408 feet from the plate to center field, and that's the second out.
You got to jump on one to hit it out to center here. 8 feet deeper than SunTrust Park. Got the same size wall, maybe a little bit shorter. That's quite a poke.
Pretty amazing that the New York Mets hit 218 home runs with this gigantic ballpark as their home field.
Yeah, that's tied for the most in their franchise history. Last season's team hit 218.
Here's Juan Lagares. 2 singles, and he's taken right back up the middle, making Lucas Sims skip the rope. Let's see if he can avoid that fate here with a shutout through 6 2/3.
Yeah, I think if I were Swanson and Ozzie, I'd kind of pinch up the middle a little bit. Ozzie definitely has.
Well, how nice is it to see a young pitcher pitching well, as you said yesterday? How nice is it to see a young pitcher taking the game into the 7th inning with seemingly very little trouble. He's had excellent command of everything today.
Yeah, he has thrown many curveballs. There was one, a beauty.
Locked him right up.
Pitch count high 68, no, excuse me, 71 in the big leagues. Nope, sorry.
Up the middle again. It's a base hit. Amazing. I'll bet you the 3 hits Lagares has in this game, the deviation be about a foot. They've all been to the same spot. And the Mets do threaten now with 2 on and 2 out.
Maybe they'll defend him that way in game 2. Fastball up, and he got up on top of it. And that's going to do it for Lucas. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong pitch count numbers. But he had pitched as high as 106 in the big leagues.
Well, he pitched an unbelievably good game in New York today. Tyler Flowers with a pat on the back. Brian Snitker, too. Biggest stage in the game is the Big Apple, and Lucas Sims didn't shy away from the spotlight. He leads 5-0 as we continue in the 7th. Fourth, 3 in the 6th, 1 more in the 7th. That's been more than enough to this point, partner, for Lucas Sims.
Just a tremendous outing. Backed up exactly what he wanted to do after the start against the Nationals, when he went 5 innings and gave up 1 run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Tonight against the Mets, a great line, has not given up a run. With 2 outs here in the 7th inning, 5 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 of those 5 hits have come this inning. Excellent work, good command. One guy that he couldn't solve was Lagares, who had 3 of the hits.
So Daniel Winkler's going to come on. He's got Nito ready to go for the Mets, and Daniel's been unbelievably good.
Yeah, he's not allowed a run in his last 6 outings, and his last time out was 3 days ago against the Phillies, 2/3 of an inning with a strikeout. He's retired 9 of the 12 first batters he's faced, and only 2 of 10 inherited runners have scored. And we continue to marvel at how strong he's come back from a broken elbow. Broken bone in his elbow.
Well, this is the guy you want to get because Asdrubal Cabrera is lurking and has grabbed a bat for the Mets. He's on deck. 2 on, 2 out, 5-run lead. And an excellent start. Cabrera's been a tough out for the Braves. Let's worry about him leading off the 8th, perhaps. High fly ball down the left field line. That's trouble. That ball is off the fence. 1 run scores. Lagares will be waved. Here comes Dansby's throw. Instead, he puts it in his pocket. Nito with a 2-run double. And the Mets are on the board. It's a 5-2 game.
And both of the runs charged to Lucas Sims on what was supposed to be a slider down and away. Hung up right on the inner third, and fortunate it stayed in the ballpark.
So Sims line 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He now enjoys a 3-run lead, and Asdrubal Cabrera is the Mets hitter. He swings the first pitch and pops it towards second. Ozzie says he's got it, and he does. And that retires the side. The Mets get a couple of runs on 2 hits. A leadoff walk comes home as well. 5-2 after 7. Let's send it back to Rebecca Capel in Atlanta for tonight's showstopper. The Mets go to their bullpen again. It'll be right-hander Kevin McGowan who will face the middle of the Braves order. McGowan, another shaggy-haired right-hander for this New York club. 6'5", 235 out of Nashua, New Hampshire.
Only his 6th game since being recalled. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. It's not altogether surprising with a guy who just came up trying to find the strike zone. But as Chip was telling you earlier, their bullpen has really been raked over the coals pretty much all year long. 6-5 with 4 saves at Las Vegas, a 4.15 ERA.
That's the line for Lucas Sims, who stands to win it if the Braves can get 6 more outs with this 3-run lead. Andy Fletcher back behind the plate after a momentary delay. And here's Nick, a 2-run double back in the 6th inning. That came off of Josh Smoker, though runs were charged to Chris Flexen, the Mets starter, who gave up 4 in 5 innings. McGowan must be a good athlete. He played a lot of hockey in his days in New Hampshire.
Pretty good big guy on skates.
Right? He was a senior all-star in his final year at Nashua North High School, and then went to Franklin Pierce University before the Mets took him in the 13th round 4 years ago. And with that curly hair, has a striking resemblance to Ogie Oglethorpe.
Boy, what a player.
It's upstairs.
He was no Willie Plett, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, Ogie led the Federal League in penalty minutes for the 1977 through 1981 years inclusively. As the great sportscaster Jim Kerr told us. Downstairs from Arcacus, leadoff walk. That helps. And this has been an all too familiar refrain for Dan Warthen and Terry Collins.
This is a supremely trying season, of course, for Terry. It would be for any manager who had to endure all this for the Mets, especially with the rotation. And if there was one fault that Terry had when he first started managing, it was lack of patience. I mean, he wanted to win every day. He wanted to win every inning. He wanted to win every out. And it got the best of him at times. But he went to Japan and managed. And when he came back, he's a different guy. He had worked on his demeanor, got another opportunity to manage here, and took full advantage. Has done a great job. And if any of that new demeanor was tested, it was tested this year.
No balls and a strike. High fly ball hit by Flowers to deep left field, and that ball is long gone. That's a recipe for success, a walk and then a homer. And Tyler Flowers has a dirty dozen long balls this year, and the Braves get those 2 runs right back.
That's not bad. Was that 30 homers from your catchers?
Take that, won't you?
I mean, to tell you, Tyler lit into this. Boy, oh boy. Hanging slider. That's over the party plaza out there. That's a home run in the old fence.
So homers from Albies and Flowers today. Braves have 7 runs, 7 hits. And Lucas Sims should be on his way to win number 3. Well, what a day for Tyler. He's called a great game with Sims. He's thrown out 2 would-be base stealers, and now a 2-run homer. Rio has a walk and a sacrifice fly today. His 2nd RBI of the year against the Mets. John, I know you know Terry Collins very, very well. You've known him pretty much all your life, all your baseball life. Going back to your days in Albuquerque. I would assume that your friendship, not only you're proud of your friendship, but you are extremely proud of that change you talked about for Terry Collins.
He had to do that. He was going to explode. I mean, literally, I worried for his health because he was so amped up, hyper.
Rio to right. Aoki on the run. That ball is going to bounce off the fence. And Ruiz on his way to second. He's going to stop. A walk, a homer, and now a double.
Rio continues his good work. High fastball, got on top of it. Aoki's been running from pillar to post, can't run anything down. Another extra base hit. But for Terry Collins, yeah, I mean, blood pressure. You just expected him to just explode because He had a hard time of controlling it and knowing how to release it, but whatever happened in Japan when he was over there managing, he came back a different guy.
Well,
And he got a little older too.
Well, that mellowed a little bit,
Yeah.
so to speak, and that's
Yeah.
sometimes a derogatory term. I don't think it is. But for him to be able to do that in this town, to affect that kind of change with all the pressure that comes with New York, the constant media barrage, and let's face it, when he came here, the Mets were trying to escape the Madoff mess, and he had to guide the team through that and the low payrolls and the losing seasons, and he survived all of that. After being named the manager in November of 2010, even taking him to the World Series here. No balls and a strike, and in the dirt. When you look at the Mets history, his first manager was Casey Stengel. Terry Collins has won the third most games as a manager in Mets history, behind Davey Johnson and Bobby Valentin. I think he's managed more games than anybody in Mets history.
Yeah.
And as someone who's been very lucky to ride your coattails during the conversations you have with Terry from time to time, I have a lot of admiration for him as a person, as a manager. He's great with the media, and I hope he gets to choose whatever he wants to do at the end of this year, whether it's here or maybe someplace else, if he so desires.
You know what he's able to do here, that he's learned to do, and it's been accepted, where the media here, the press here, don't often do this. Terry will point fingers right back at him, and he'll lay some guys low over some things they may have said, and they've given him, I don't want to say they've given him a pass, but they don't go crazy then trying to blame him for everything and needs to be fired and run out of town. They don't get defensive about it, because he does it in such a way that, you know, hey, remember, you know, these guys are ball players. They're making mistakes. You know the tune, the same tune you've heard. But in New York, sometimes that's not allowed.
Oh yeah, you're as good as your last pitch or your last at bat in this town. So I agree with you. I think he's done a remarkable job. And this year, under, as you said, perhaps the most trying circumstances he's ever had, with a team that we saw in spring training. And I remember we were talking with you, Terry Collins, and Ron Washington about the Mets team before one of our spring training broadcasts, and we said, wow, we really like your club. And he said, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, and a couple of weeks in, he didn't have his team anymore, and he's tried to keep it together. Not easy. Fly ball lifted toward left center. Nimmo on the run. He's there and has it. And that takes care of Dansby Swanson. That's the first out of the inning.
Terry's a great example of a guy who was short on talent but was long on desire. You know, he's short in stature. He might be 5'9" maybe. And playing with him in the minor leagues, especially in AAA, you know, outfielders would come in and play shallow, and he'd inevitably hit it over their head and then run like crazy. He never played in the big leagues, but he never gave up that desire to get to the big leagues, which is a lesson to anybody who plays this game that wants to do it bad enough. And his first job in the big leagues, I believe I'm right on this, was as a coach for Jim Leyland in Pittsburgh.
Who better to learn from than Jim Leyland or Bobby Cox?
Yeah.
I mean, legendary guys.
He was a bullpen coach. And that was Terry's original organization as a player, was the Pirates.
1992. Then was a third base and bullpen coach for the Rays in 2001, after said he was in Japan for a while with the Oryx Buffaloes. Guided Team China to the WBC Classic. First win in the WBC. I mean, this is a baseball lifer, but a baseball man with a worldview, not just here in New York. He managed the Angels and Astros before coming to the Mets. Managed 11 years in the minor leagues. 11.
Never gave up hope.
Two balls and a strike for Jace. Back to the screen foul. It's now 2-2.
Another good swing from Peterson.
Another chance for Nimmo in shallow left. And that's going to bring up Matt Adams. With 2 in, a runner at second, and now 2 outs. So Winkler went a third of an inning, gave up a hit. Nothing else. And here's the man they call Big City. Well, he's in the biggest city. See what he can do here with Braves up 7-2. And McGowan wants to talk it over.
Boy, this game has come to a standstill.
Yeah. Game 2 to follow here in New York.
I hope Matt, he's doing it, working his batting gloves there. I hope that Velcro doesn't like go to the wrong glove where he can't separate his hands. He'd just be like handcuffed.
Handcuffed?
Oh my. That's a danger for a modern player.
That's not good. Max Fried and Seth Lugo square off in game 2. Half hour, 40 minutes after we wrap this one up. First visit to New York since late April. Boy, the schedule is really weird this year. 2 trips to New York City in the first month of the regular season. But we got to miss most of the heat and the humidity. And we got to miss UN week.
Yeah.
Two balls, no strikes. Popped up. Nito to the screen. He has no play. That one might have skimmed the backside of the screen as it went to foul ground. He's got a little protective mask repair to take care of. Now he's good to go. 2-2. Well, that came off the bat funny, didn't it?
Right off the end. He's checking to see if it split the end. Change up, down and away. It's amazing you can swing that hard and have it go trickle 8 feet away.
Right. The 2-2 is grounded toward first. Smith off his glove and into shallow right field. That's going to bring home Rio Ruiz, and Matt Adams brings home a third Atlanta run in the inning.
And yet another RBI for a pinch hitter. That's number 12 on the season for Matt. That ties him with Lane Adams for the most RBIs among the pinch hitters. Smith got a late break on that.
So Micah Johnson will pinch run. Rio Ruiz scores Braves' 8th run here in game 1. And now Ender Inciarte looking for his 58th multi-hit game and hit number 199 potentially. Pretty rough inning for Kevin McGowan. A walk, a homer, a double, 2 soft flyouts, and then a ground ball off the first baseman's glove that turns into a 3-run inning. And he's about to make his 31st pitch.
That changeup has not been there for McGowan, but he's still working at it.
Popped up. Who wants this? It'll be Evans at third base, and he's got it. And that retires the side. A leadoff walk to Nick Markakis, and then a big fly from Tyler Flowers, who's had a very big game. A 2-run homer, great work behind the plate. He's thrown out 2 runners, and Braves rolling in game 1, 8-2. Park or field access to shag fly balls. Well, join the A-List by October 15th to get invited to the 2017 A-List Play Day. 2018 A-List memberships are now on sale. Members receive the best seats at the best prices along with VIP benefits. Now's the time to get the best seats at the lowest prices. Go to Braves.com/A-List today.
Hard throwing Rex Brothers on here for the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-3. High ERA, a lot of strikeouts. Picked up a win in his last outing against the Phillies a couple of days ago. An inning, gave up a hit, zeros across otherwise.
Well, how about a snappy 1-2-3 inning? We haven't had many of those in the last couple of frames. And this happens off the plate to Norichika Aoki, the Mets right fielder. Some of the kids not giving up late. Hear them chanting. Two balls, no strikes. Little tapper hit towards short. Dansby throws quickly, and Aoki down the line a little late. He's retired for the first out.
I tell you though, Dansby can really make that transfer quickly. When he knows he's got to charge and throw on the run, he can get it to his throwing hand as well as anybody. Nicely done.
Well, he's got a strong arm, and it's been very accurate most of the time. But to do that, as you said, fast runner and on the run himself, it's a nice play. So Brothers gets the first out. Here's Jose Reyes. He's 1 for 2 with a walk, and he unloads toward left. Peterson drifting back to the warning track, takes a peek at the fence, leaps and shy of the wall, hauls it in. Didn't have to jump, but outfield inexperience there, but he made the play. That's all that matters. 2 outs.
He didn't want to take his eye off the ball either, and that was part of it. He kept checking the wall, but the last 2 or 3 steps he was eyeballing the baseball, so not sure exactly where he was. And I'm surprised the ball stayed in the ballpark, quite frankly. Other that was hit better than that.
So Brothers has the first 2 outs. Here's Brandon Nimmo, who's 1 for 3, a 4th inning single. That was really the only time Sims had any kind of trouble until the 7th inning when he came out of the game. Mets had first and second. Reyes tried to steal third. Tyler Flowers threw him out. Evans lined out to third, and then Smith struck out. That was that. A command performance for Lucas Sims. Also picked up his first big league hit in the game. So your 4 keys back to back for Lucas. Mission accomplished there. And I'm going to give you the hold runners, but with an asterisk, because it was Tyler Flowers that did the.
Well, Tyler took care of business.
Nimmo swung late. And the 1-2 pitch right off his knuckles. What's that guy working on?
No, see, if he's keeping score, I don't know if he is. It looked like a scorebook. But if he's keeping score, he's got a glove on, so his sweaty hand doesn't kind of mess up the score sheet. Now then, if he's painting, I got no answer for you. But I'm pretty sure it all boils down to a sweaty hand.
Looks like he was practicing on his knee too, just in case he
Yeah.
didn't like the lines on the paper.
I think he's sketching.
All right. Check out the dude with his feet on the back of the chair. As that one's lined to Albies. He makes the play, and that will retire the side. That'll show him. Get your feet off the furniture, dude. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 9th inning. 689 days in a row. Egads.
Yeah. That lady to the left over there is trying to pull her hat down as low as she can, too.
This is Jacob Rame. He was born in Atlanta.
He's had a rough go since he got called up. He was acquired from the Dodgers in the Curtis Granderson deal. And between Las Vegas and Oklahoma City, he did okay. 0-3 though record, but right at a 4 ERA, had a couple of saves, a lot of strikeouts. But his 3 outings with the Mets, his most recent 3 outings. On September 13th, a third of an inning, he gave up 5 runs. September 18th against Miami, an inning he gave up a run, including a homer. September 23rd against Washington, a third of an inning, 2 walks and a run, and gave up a homer.
So that's outside to Ozzie Albies, who got the scoring started for the Braves with a line drive home run off the facade of the second deck above the party area behind Nori Aoki. It was a line shot, and that's up and in. Mentioned Rame was born in Atlanta, grew up in Texas.
He's not as big, but he has a little bit of a Kyle Farnsworth look because of those glasses.
To the left side, Evans gives chase over near the tarp and won't have a play. 2-2. Albies, Freeman, and Markakis for the Braves, who have spread the offense up and down the lineup card. A little roller hit towards second. Reyes has it. His flip to first in time. That takes care of Ozzie. 1 out. Looks like Jason Mott's going to grab the ball and come on and pitch the 9th. 8-2 Braves lead game 1. Freddie's 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
It's funny, nobody has more than 1 hit. Braves have 9. 2 of them are from the 9th spot in the order. Sims and Matt Adams. Freddie's been blanked.
Down the way at the plate.
Game 1 of the season here. How about this? We have time? Yeah, it's only 1 out. Tehran and Syndergaard hooked up in game 1. 62 degrees game time. Decent.
Yep.
Syndergaard, 6 innings of 5-hit shutout ball, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Tehran, 6 innings, 4-hit shutout, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. They're both out of the game, no score. The Mets scored 6 runs in the 7th inning and won 6-0.
I kind of remember that inning. That was, as Charles Dickens said, the worst of times.
Yeah.
One ball, 2 strikes for Freddie Freeman. And he launches one to the left side and down the line fair. He beat the shift with an opposite field double. That is 2-base hit number 34 for the Braves first baseman. And his 141st hit career against the Mets.
Up and away. Takes it away.
Nick Markakis 1 for 3 with a 2-run double and a run scored in the 8th. 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 8th, 1 each in the 4th and 7th for the Braves. And a change of pace, miss low. That one found the mark. It's 2-1.
This is an old-fashioned doubleheader. There's not going to be a day-night type setup where they clear the stadium and you have to go re-enter the stadium if you're a fan. You hang around, have a hot dog and a beer, and get ready for game 2 with a short turnaround. I'm anxious to see Max Fried back out there. What a night it would be if he had a good outing back-to-back with Lucas Sims.
You might remember a couple of years ago at Turner Field, it was a doubleheader for the Mets that really got their franchise turned around. They had Matt Harvey and Zach Wheeler pitching in back-to-back games, and they both won. As Markakis takes a walk, and Rame has little idea where the ball's going right now. 2 on, 1 out. And Dan Warthen's going to come out after Rame had a peek in the dugout. Might need a little timeout here, and Warthen will try to calm him down.
They don't have anyone warming up. They would like not to.
Talked about the challenges for Terry Collins. Boy, what challenges it has to be for Dan Warthen too, with all the players that they have run through their locker room this year because of trades and all the injuries.
A lot of trips to the DL.
Mets have used 52 players.
Goodness.
This year. As Flowers takes ball 1.
Another guy that he would normally have at his disposal. There are the trips to the DL. Well, the Dodgers and Blue Jays have had more. He would ideally have Wilmer Flores out there with a chance to play every day, you know, as his, instead of his being his super sub. But Wilmer's hurt. He's on the DL.
Now, I forgot to mention him, and we know how well Flores has played against the Braves historically. Again, you could put together a really good team with just the injured players alone for New York, not to mention the guys that are still out there. How'd you like to start your team with Matz, Harvey, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Familia?
That's
too shabby.
That's not bad.
Then Conforto and Cespedes and Flores, and maybe take a flyer on David Wright.
Pretty good group.
2-2. These can't be very comfortable at bats for the Braves hitters.
No, no, not when you got a guy out there that you've never seen before, and you know that he doesn't know where it's going. That's very uncomfortable. Plus, you're hoping those glasses aren't as thick as they appear.
Or fogged up. 8-2 Atlanta, full count pitch. But this is another example of the ethos of this Braves team this year. They don't always win, but they always give you a finish, and these guys don't give away at bats. As a group, these guys they don't care what the score is. They are out there not conceding anything. Grinding out at bats. And Flowers takes inside, and they're loaded. As you said, nobody up in the New York bullpen. Graham's worked up a lather, and he'll face Rio Ruiz with one out.
Yanks.
Yankees won today. They beat Kansas City 11-3. As Rebecca told you back in our Atlanta studios, Aaron Judge hit homers 49 and 50 for the Yankees. Most of the other action gets underway in just a few minutes. Keep an eye on the Cubs and Cardinals for you. Washington is in Philadelphia to face Aaron Nola. Bryce Harper was expected to be in the lineup. He is not in the lineup. Told it's flu-like symptoms for Harper, who's trying to come back from that bad left knee injury. High fly ball toward Aoki and right. That should be deep enough to bring home Freeman. There's the catch. And the other runners hold. It'll be a sacrifice fly for Rio Ruiz, his second of those on the day. A 2 RBI game, and the Braves add a run. It's 9-2.
How are Rio?
Braves only scored 10 runs in the previous 6 games against the Mets.
They've got 9 in 9 innings today. That's a little more like it. Here's Dansby, an infield hit in his 4 tries. Five pitches for Rain, 13 strikes. Broken bat off the pitcher's glove. Rain recovers, fires to first, and got him. Bang, bang play at first. Swanson called out. Are the Braves going to take a look at this? Safer out.
Can't tell if his foot's on the bag, but I would be inclined to say out. It depends on if his instep was on the base.
So Andy Fletcher is asking if there's going to be a review. Joe West is looking in as well, and apparently there is going to be a review. At this point you lead. Try to get a hit for your shortstop. So the Braves will take a look. Crowd not happy about that in a 9-2 game, but this is about the hit potential for Swanson more than anything else. Braves will challenge the call. That angle he looks out.
Too. Yeah.
And the call is confirmed. Swanson is retired. So are the Braves, who add a 9th inning run. 9-2 Atlanta, 3 outs to get for a victory for Lucas Sims.
Presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Big night for Tyler Flowers in game one. Actually, big day for Tyler Flowers, I should say. But as we are 10 minutes after 7 o'clock, he'll give way to David Freitas. Tyler Flowers with a 2-run homer, caught an excellent game, threw out 2 would-be base stealers. And now he'll watch a new battery for the Braves. Freitas and Jason Mott work with 3 outs to get before an Atlanta victory.
44 games for Jason after being acquired, claimed off waivers from Colorado at the beginning of the year. Last pitched actually 6 days ago against Washington, an inning, a walk, a strikeout.
Evans, Smith, and Rosario coming up for the Mets. 2 runs, 6 hits for New York, 9 runs, 10 hits for the Braves. And that just missed. That just missed. 2-2 for Phillip Evans, who's out of Carlsbad, California. Slipped to the 15th round in 2011. Didn't have a good senior year in high school. But the Mets gave up supplemental first-round money to sign him away from a playing chance at San Diego State.
He won an Eastern League batting title last year.
That's right. Hit .335 for them.
That is really good in that league.
Is it? 8 homers, 39 RBIs in 96 games for the Rumble Ponies. Pitch is called strike 3. Mott gets the leadoff man. Good start to his 9th inning. Seven Mets have struck out in the game. Lucas Sims got 6 of them. And here's Dominic Smith, who whiffed twice in 3 trips. Smith was the 11th overall pick in 2013. In his first full pro season with Savannah in 2014, hit 1 homer in 126 games. And power steadily rose. 6 homers in 15, 14 homers at Binghamton last year. And Baseball America says he's the best natural hitter in the Mets system.
Huh.
He's out of Gardena, California. And takes high. 1-2 the count. Six feet tall, 250 pounds. And Smith has the hat trick. He strikes out for a 3rd time, and Mott's bringing it. 2 up, 2 down via strikeout. The last hope for New York is Ahmed Rosario. Rosario 0 for 3. Drives that one into the seats. Strike 1. Nice catch. Back to the mound. Mott spears it and throws to first in time. What a play. What a way to end game one. Braves thump the Mets by a final score of 9-2. Flowers with a 2-run homer. Nick Markakis a 2-run double. Albies a homer and 2 runs. And Lucas Sims Joe was fantastic.
He has been fun to watch, and he is coming along strong here at the end of the year. What a game for Lucas. Got a lot of offense to back him up.
He's the winner. He's now 3-5. Chris Flexen falls to 3-5. The Braves score 9 runs against New York after scoring 10 total in their previous 6. Brief break for us. We'll come back and have game 2 shortly. It will be Max Fried and Seth Lugo. Braves Live coming up next.